I, 27F. Need help communicating more effectively with my husband, 35M, about his work wife. Too long did not read. I, 27F. Communicated to my husband, 35M, that I am uncomfortable with his work wife, and would like him to set boundaries around their communication. He just doesn't seem to get it. How can I get through to him? My husband, 36M, and I have been together since April 2020 and got married in June. He works in a female-dominated field. He has always had female friends and I have always been okay with that. We have an open relationship, open in the sense we are free to have sexual experiences with others. He has not slept with anyone else as of yet. Only I have, and it's been women, not other men, and as long as we both consent to sleeping with someone new, it's fair game. My husband started a new job January 2021, and made friends with a female coworker around August 2021. Initially I, 27F, was happy that he had someone to bullshit with at work, but her actions started to become questionable. I.e. Snapchatting my husband consistently outside of work, asking him to come to her house on the weekends, calling him at odd hours of the evening, asking him to go and drive around with her, etc. She invited us to her wedding after knowing him for 2 months, which I found odd as I had never met her. I got sick with COVID and was unable to attend the wedding, so I never met her in person. However, my husband would tell me very intimate details about her trauma and experiences with her family that felt questionable to me. The picture that he painted of her was not a very pleasant one in my opinion. I expressed my uncomfortability with the friendship and requested that we talk about setting boundaries to keep work and home more separate. My husband did not agree that her actions were questionable. I communicated to him that it wasn't him that I don't trust, it's her because her boundaries are very loose with others in her life as well. In no terms did I tell him to not talk to her, but to have better boundaries, being more mindful of times he is answering her calls, not being alone with her in private spaces, and limiting what he tells her about our personal life. He did not agree that he needed to do this, and after a while I just gave up. Things progressed and he answered a FaceTime call from her without asking me while we were laying in bed at 10 p.m. We sought couples counseling to help bridge the communication issues where we sat and agreed on boundaries. 2 weeks pass and I needed to get a verification code for our health insurance login on his email. He tells me to grab his phone and just get the code. A text pops up from the friend with a picture of a sex toy that she had been using with her partner. I again expressed my concern that I was not okay with him talking about our sex life with her without my consent. 3 weeks pass and I call him that I'm on my way home, takes me 10 minutes tops. When I walk in the door he is on the phone with her and is still on the phone with her 20 minutes after I came home, like the boundaries had never been set. I spoke with him and we had the whole, you teach people how to treat you, talk, and that if you don't outline what you are and are not okay with, you're doing yourself and the friend a disservice. He continued to not see an issue and would not communicate the agreed upon boundaries to her. I communicated to him the conclusion I came to in my own therapy work, that the reason I don't like her is that her actions remind me of my mother and this triggers me. Fast forward to today where I come home and he tells me that he had the conversation with her. He tells me he started the convo off with, my wife has a problem with our dynamic, rather than my wife and I were talking about boundaries and we thought it would be a good idea to limit our contact outside of work. The friend then came to the conclusion that I am jealous and controlling. I know that my triggers are my responsibility, and am working on that on my own. I communicated that I felt thrown under the bus because it seems like he just didn't want to have the difficult conversation and it was to appease me, not because he wanted to. What can I do? Communicate better to my husband in this situation. Stop calling her the work wife. I hate that term. You have no problem with communicating, your problem is your husband doesn't respect your boundaries. She sounds like she's his wife at work and even after work. Your husband does not respect you and is having a relationship with this woman. If you've already tried therapy, then maybe you need to ask yourself if this is how you want to live, brings second place to some other woman. I'd straight up ask him how his emotional affair partner is doing, in therapy. My boyfriend isn't sure if he wants to be with me because I'm not motivated enough for him. The first 2 years of being here. That was a big problem for him, I understand. I got a job and I take care of the house as well. I don't work as much as he does, but the house is usually clean because of me. I do his laundry, make him food often. Sometimes I even pack his lunches for work. He says he's happy with me, but he isn't sure if he wants to be with me because of this. He wants to move towns and he's not sure he wants me to come if he isn't sure he wants to be with me. He says I could have saved more money by working more because he have had plans to do something with our money by the end of the year. Especially because his job paid less this year and he has no money now. I want to continue my education and also we have wanted to start a business. The plan at the end of the year with our saved money. But I've always been a little unsure because of the conversations we have like this. I will apply for university this spring so hopefully I can get in and start with going online but IDK. Any advice? I've lived in his country for him since I was just turning 22 and now I'm 25 edit. He does not support me financially in any way. I pay my own rent and food and everything's. If you prioritize hearth and home and he prioritizes his wallet, these are the fundamental differences in life attitudes that usually doom a relationship. But regardless of the cause, anytime a partner tells you they have doubts like this, it means you need to get out. All breakups begin with this seemingly small things. So make a plan for living without him. Go ahead with your education and everything. He's going to go off and do what he wants to and you're going to need to focus on yourself and your own future. Good luck. I'm so confused as to how he's worried about your motivation when you make more money, take care of the house, pay your share and are planning on pursuing further education? I'm confused. You work and do the majority around the house and pay your fair share, but you aren't motivated enough? Dude is gaslighting you. Caught by dad, don't know how to handle it. I, 23 female, finally just moved into my own place a few days ago. Before then I live with my parents and siblings so I was very excited to have a whole house to myself. This morning I had a guy, 26 male, I am seeing over. Since I live alone and the novelty of living alone is in full swing, we decided to do something in the kitchen. My dad has been helping me move and I still have a few things at my parents' place but they always come during the afternoon because of work. My dad took the day off today apparently from what my mum told me, so he caught me in the kitchen when he came in this morning with the spare key to drop off some boxes. He left immediately without saying a word. I've been trying to call him but he won't answer. I am not sure what to do or what to say. I want to bury my head in some sand and never come out. How do I make this not so embarrassing and weird? This is the first time I've been caught doing anything like that, so I am not sure what to do. Too long did not read. Dad caught me in the kitchen with a guy. He won't answer his phone and I'm not sure how to fix this. Just give him a little time. You did nothing wrong here, it's just you're his little girl and it may have just shocked him to catch you in that situation. Most likely, you two will bury it and avoid talking about it ever. There's nothing to fix. You are an adult and he walked in on you in your private home. He should have called first, and not just barged in. Typically, adults in this situation would just not mention it again, unless he'd want to apologize for not knocking first. I've been trying to call him but he won't answer. I am not sure what to do or what to say. I want to bury my head in some sand and never come out. How do I make this not so embarrassing and weird? This is the first time I've been caught doing anything like that, so I am not sure what to do. He's embarrassed and loathing his decision to pop by unannounced. Give him a while. Not sure how long. I imagine getting over seeing your daughter getting railed in the breakfast nook takes some people longer than others. I forgot to put my fiancé's soup in the fridge. My fiancé cooked some soup all day yesterday in the crock pot before her 12-hour shift at the hospital and asked me to put it in the fridge when it cooled. I went out with my friends when she left and totally forgot, and now it's ruined. How can I make it up to her? She's not mad but she deserves good soup. I feel awful. She deserves good soup. Aw, that's cute. Make some more soup. Find the recipe and remake it for her. A lot of people saying it's not a big deal, and while that may be technically correct, it may be a big deal to your girlfriend that you didn't fulfill a commitment to her. So, amends are necessary to make sure she understands that you indeed take your commitments to her seriously and in the future will be doubly diligent. Good luck. Are you sure it's ruined? Depending on what's in it, I've left crockpot soups out for quite a bit of time. If it was just out for the length of her shift, it's probably still good. How long was it out? This can affect taste and texture, but it will also probably be fine if you just reheat it to a boil. Obviously if your GF's not comfortable eating it, that's her choice, but it might not be lost. As for making it up to her, if you're a decent cook you could remake the soup or stock up on soup from a restaurant that she enjoys.